going to continue with the GIT lectures. In the first lecture, we started with the congenital abnormalities of GIT. Today, we will start with esophagus. So, as per a journal rule or journal way we go around is like that. Usually, we start with the non-neoplastic disorders of that particular organ, and then we continue towards the neoplastic. So, starting with esophagus, can have both neoplastic and non-neoplastic issues. More common entities which are being encountered in esophagus are usually inflammatory. We'll start with esophageal obstruction. So, esophageal obstruction can be functional or it can be structural. Can you please see this? I'm sharing the screen. Can you please see the presentation? Can somebody confirm? Hello, I'm waiting for your response. Can please somebody confirm me if he or she can see the screen? I am not receiving a response back. I just need to confirm that can you please see the presentation? Somebody can unmute the mic and tell me. So I believe the raise hand is probably a sign that you can see it. I'll continue with it. The structure, functional obstruction of esophagus. Is there a host along? Can you please help me finding unmute those? The functional obstruction can be because of the loss of peristaltic coordinated movements, and these functional dysmotility or functional obstruction can be seen in three kind of cases. Number one is the nutcracker esophagus. It is basically the loss of peristaltic movement of inner circular or outer longitudinal smooth muscles. Basically, each one of them will be contracting, but they lose the coordination among themselves. So the result is a nutcracker obstruction. A nutcracker obstruction is somewhere be dilated another part constricted, then dilated, then constricted. Some esophagus has is the host around? Right.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. मुझे confirm back response नहीं है आप लोगों को?
मैम
Light
पहले
still
आवाज
hold?
आपकी आवाज आना एकदम बंद हो गई थी। स्क्रीन आपकी आ रही है, लेक्चर चल रहा है।
ठीक है।
बस वॉइस में कोई डिस्टॉर्शन हुई थी जी।
अब ठीक आ गए आपको?
यस मैम, स्टार्ट अगेन।
चलिए मैं दोबारा करती हूँ। So today we'll start with esophageal obstructions, which can be functional obstructions or physical obstructions. Functional obstruction is when there is peristaltic contractions in coordination and does not result in effective peristalsis from mouth towards stomach. First of this obstruction is nutcracker obstruction, when there is loss of coordination of muscle movements between inner circular and outer longitudinal. Next of this obstruction is diffuse esophageal spasm, where there is repetitive shallow kind of contractions of distal smooth muscle and still fails to do an effective peristalsis. The last one is lower esophageal sphincter dysfunction. There is a, it is not actually a physical sphincter, but there is a contraction or excessive contraction at the lower end, which acts as lower esophageal sphincter. So if it keeps on continuing exhibiting a high pressure, it results in failed movements or failed relaxation and movement of food from esophagus into stomach. So these are just to understand the functional obstruction. The structural obstructions are one which you can physically see. These include diverticuli. The particularly known diverticuli which you should be familiar with the name is one is the Zenker's diverticulum. Other diverticulum can occur in epinephric space and other places, but the most known one or established one is Zenker's diverticulum. So what we read in the last lecture or we shared was what is a diverticulum. A diverticulum is a blind outpouching of the normal wall of the hollow tubular organ. In case of esophagus, if this blind outpouching occurs at cricopharyngeus muscle, place and distal pharynx, we call it Zenker's diverticulum. It is also known as pharyngoesophageal diverticulum. Reason being, it is not exactly entirely in esophagus. It is in between pharynx and esophagus start. The place is basically defect is the cricopharyngeus muscle has a defect and it helps or it splits and kind of allow the blind pouching of the esophagus to protrude through it. This is known as Zenker's diverticulum. It is located above the upper esophageal sphincter and usually develops after 50 years of age. It can have variation in size. What it does is that it accumulates food and produces symptoms like regurgitation or halitosis, that is excessive salivation. Esophageal obstruction, mechanical obstructions can be caused by stricture. Usually the benign esophageal stenosis occurs as a result of excessive inflammation, scarring, which can be because of several reasons, but the most common reason is if the patient ingests some substance. Number two, common cause is radiation, a radiation which is being done to the neck, supraclavicular area, usually for breast or thyroid kind of malignancies. The radiation usually results in esophageal ulceration and scarring, which can result into, in extreme cases, can result into obstruction. Chronic gastroesophageal reflux, it does cause scarring and fibrosis, but not entirely occludes the esophagus. It is subacute kind of an obstruction. Then the most common neoplastic lesions are the cause of esophageal obstructions. So these were the reasons for esophageal obstruction. Another thing can be esophageal mucosal webs. These are idiopathic protrusions of mucosa. So what is the difference between diverticulum and mucosa? Diverticulum wall से serosa की wall से बाहर होगा. It will be a blind outpouching. जो webs हैं, these are within the mucosa and they do not contain the other layers of the wall of esophagus. These are occur in these
Excuse me, ma'am. I think slides are not moving. एक स्टूडेंट का मैसेज आया, स्लाइड्स आर नॉट मूविंग, प्लीज जरा
मैं
चेक कर
स्क्रीन
लें।
दोबारा शेयर कर, मैं स्क्रीन दोबारा,
ओके मैम।
ठीक है। Please confirm, can you see the slide now?
यस मैम, प्लीज मूव करें।
Esophageal obstruction, अब आपको हो रहा है?
जी जी।
हो रही है मूव, ऊपर
यस
ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन का ही टाइटल है, बट नीचे मूव कर रही है।
ओके मैम, स्टार्ट।
Okay. Esophageal mucosal web. So these occur over the 40 years of age and are associated with gastroesophageal reflux, graft versus host disease, and blistering skin diseases. So the reasons in all the diseases which cause damage in mucosa or leave in or result in blistering of skin and mucosal can cause the esophageal mucosal web. Sometimes they can be idiopathic. पेटरसन, ब्राउन, केली और प्लमर विल्सन सिंड्रोम। कॉमन सा नेम बेटा जो वाइवा में या एमसीक्यूज में आपको आएगा, द मोर कॉमन नेम इज प्लमर विल्सन सिंड्रोम। इट इज बेसिकली इन द अपर esophagus esophageal webs बनते हैं which are accompanied by a classical triad. Symptoms का triad है, iron deficiency होगा, patient को glossitis होगा, it is more common in female and results in esophageal web formation. आपने ये triad याद रखना है. They can also result in esophageal carcinoma sometimes. लेकिन Plummer-Wilson syndrome is one of those syndromes which were expected to know कि आपको ये triad पता हो, that it is an iron deficiency anemia, results in esophageal and associated, not results in, reason नहीं है iron deficiency नहीं है, ये एक triad है, cluster है findings का. Iron deficiency नहीं है, अब usually esophagus में कोई pathology like web formation or sometimes neoplasias and glossitis and commonly occurs in females. These web results to progressive dysphagia with incomplete chewed food. Then comes esophageal rings or Shattzaki rings. इनका आपको सिर्फ नाम पता होना चाहिए. Basically, these are जैसे mucosal webs are the abnormality. These are the small circumferential thickened mucosal rings, which when occur at few places can cause the obstruction. If they are present in distal esophagus, they are known as A rings. If they are lined by squamous mucosa, and if they are lined by the distally gastric or cardiac type mucosa, they are called B rings. You do not need to know them, you just need to be familiar. एक चीज होती है जिसे esophageal ring कहते हैं. It is a thicker cluster of usually mucosa, but sometimes can have hypertrophied muscles as well. Eclasia. So this is a term जो आपको शायद wards में भी बहुत frequently सुनने के लिए मिलेगी. Eclasia means increased tone of lower esophageal sphincter. So just as I told you, the lower esophageal sphincter is basically functional sphincter. It usually there at that focus of lower esophagus there is increased pressure, and most of the time it is being kept closed unless it encounters food. So hota ये है कि when the food encounters there, it has to release certain cytokines, that is the enzymes or vasoactive peptides, nitric oxide, which results in the dilation of the lower sphincter and lets the food pass through that place. If it fails to relax, यानी कि वहां के जो smooth muscle dilation of proximal part, this dilation of proximal part is known as eclasia. So just to read through, release of nitric oxide and vasoactive intestinal peptides from inhibitory neurons, along with interruption of normal cholinergic signaling, allows the lower esophageal sphincter to relax during swallowing. Eclasia is characterized by triad of incomplete lower esophageal relaxation, 1, increased lower esophageal sphincter tone, and peristalsis of esophagus. So peristaltic movement I, but वहाँ block हो गई. Lower esophageal sphincter failed to relax, and the proximal part became dilated because of the presence of that food. And this whole scenario is known as eclasia. Primary eclasia is by the failure of distal esophageal inhibitory neuronal, that is ganglionic cell degeneration. So if you remember, kind of Hirschsprung वाला एक causes है. Hirschsprung में बहुत established है कि ganglion cells नहीं थे, but यहाँ पे भी underlying process यही सोचा जाता है कि ganglion cells की degeneration है. These degenerative changes result in extraesophageal vagus nerve or dorsal motor neuron nucleus of vagus may also occur. इतनी प्रोसीजर में जाने की जरूरत नहीं. What you need to know is these three triad and the underlying cause is thought to be a ganglion cell degeneration resulting in increased tone and inability to relax lower esophageal sphincter and resulting in aperistalsis. Peristalsis नहीं होगा. Secondary eclasia is related to the diseases. Reason primary diseases were something else and resulted in eclasia, such as Chaga disease, in which there is destruction of mesenteric plexus, failure of peristalsis, and esophageal dilation. So basically, then there can be eclasia like diseases such as diabetic neuropathy. आपको पता है जिन patients को long standing 20 years and above diabetes है, they complained of indigestion or they complained of slow movement of food. कि यहाँ जिसे आम जुबान में कहते हैं कि जी हम digest नहीं कर पाते. This can be a cause for resulting in autonomic neuropathy and causing eclasia-like symptoms in esophagus. If there is malignancy, there is an obstruction at lower esophagus, it will produce similar symptoms. पर उसके और भी बहुत सारे होंगे. Amyloidosis, sarcoidosis, and lesions of the dorsal motor nuclei. Treatment options is basically laparoscopic myectomy, muscle को dissect कर देते हैं. There can be balloon dilatation, or there can be Botox injection. What does a Botox injection do? It controls the autonomic or the smooth muscle functions या cholinergic functions को inhibit कर देता है so that they do not exhibit excessive control, resulting in effective dilatation of lower esophageal sphincter. After obstructions and eclasia, another term which you should be very familiar with esophagus is laceration. Laceration का मतलब होता है loss of mucosa or mucosal tears. We basically दो बहुत famous lacerations in esophagus are being encountered. One is Mallory-Weiss tear and other is Boerhaave syndrome. So Mallory-Weiss or Boerhaave syndrome, come or besh, they are similar things, but the difference is between the depth of the leak. When they are being superficial, which are associated with retching or vomiting, or the severe vomit karna, zor se bahut. So this results in superficial tear of esophagus mucosa, which is usually called as Mallory-Weiss tears. These Mallory-Weiss tears are common in vomiting secondary to alcohol intoxication. Normally, a reflex relaxation of esophageal musculature precedes the antiperistaltic movement. आपको usually अगर vomiting हो तो body में ऐसी coordinated movement होती है that they start antiperistalsis. All the sphincters are allowed to relax and then the vomitus is being passed out. If this excessive pressure of vomiting is or antiperistalsis is generated against the closed sphincter, so ये natural नहीं है. किसी alcohol intoxication, किसी और drug के अंदर या किसी और reason से, बहुत किसी chemotherapy agent की वजह से against the closed and sphincter vomiting हो, तो pressure की वजह से this causes the harm or the rupture of the mucosa resulting in Mallory-Weiss tears. 10% of bleedings can be associated with laceration. Boerhaave syndrome, it is kind of a similar thing, but it is transmural. उसमें सिर्फ mucosa था, इसमें muscle तक जाएगा. This will result in a more severe symptom. Mallory-Weiss में तो शायद सिर्फ bleeding होगी. Boerhaave में जो है आपको thorax के अंदर contents जा सकते हैं. It is a life-threatening kind of condition resulting in the rupture of esophagus. Then comes the inflammatory disorders of the esophagus. The common esophagitis form is chemical esophagitis. Usually, the upper 2/3 of esophagus is lined by the squamous columnar mucosa, and the lower 1/3 is lined by the gastrocardiac type of columnar mucosa. So, the irritant squamous mucosa cannot be subjected to excessive alkalis or acids. Basically, it is a passage जिसको एक bland lining esophagus की दी गई है. Squamous mucosa कहाँ होता है और skin पे, ठीक है? So skin का या esophagus के mucosa का squamous होने की reason क्या है? Squamous mucosa is one of the tough mucosa. So what does a tough mucosa does? It allows the passage of a hard material or more coarse kind of a material, but they are not subjected to tolerate alkalis or excessive acidic or corrosive agents. So if somebody ingests, usually kids or psychotic patients or somebody who is affected accidentally maybe, results in excessive damage of the squamous mucosa, causes an esophagitis, that is inflammation of the layer. In severe cases can produce stricture or even perforation. Esophagitis can then associated with the infections. Esophagus infections, but they are not common. Number one, याद रखिएगा. Number two, whenever there is an infection of esophagus, whether maybe fungal or viral, fungal or viral are more common. Bacterial बहुत ही unusual हैं, usually नहीं देखी जाती. So they are far more common in immunocompromisation. If you see fungal esophagus or viral esophagus in a healthy, apparently healthy individual of 30, 40, 50, even 60 years, you should suspect the patient को कोई underlying immune compromise problem है. Secondly, ये infections associated होती है cancers के साथ. ये primarily नीचे कोई malignancy पड़ी हुई है और secondary ऊपर immunocompromise होने के बाद ये infections आ गई हैं. So the commonest fungal infection is usually the candida. ठीक है, कुछ और आ सकती हैं इनके एक्सट्रीम केसेस, म्यूकोरमाइकोसिस, माइकोसिस, एस्परजिलोसिस, बट फॉर अगर आप मुझे कहें कि लेवल 1 तो 95% टाइम्स इट इज कैंडिडा. देन देयर आर वायरसेस सच एज साइटोमेगाला वायरस और herpes simplex वायरस. ये दो वायरस are pretty common in esophagitis, especially in immunocompromised patients. So in morphology will be as seen in other, along with inflammation and pseudomembrane formation. Pseudomembrane formation को ज़्यादा appreciate नहीं होती, commonly inclusion है. Epithelium में viral inclusion हुई तो herpes simplex infection, कैपिलरी एंडोथेलियम में और स्ट्रोमल सेल्स में हुई तो CMV. CMV is more common than herpes simplex. This is how you see viral inclusions in case of infectious esophagitis. If you can take a moment and appreciate, आपको ये बड़ा सा न्यूक्लियस हो गया है और उसमें बहुत सारी इंक्लूजन्स नजर आ रही है. herpes simplex होता है बेटा जब मल्टी न्यूक्लिएटेड हो तो, ठीक है. जर्नल छोटा सा रिमाइंडर है, herpes simplex इन्फेक्शन का एक टिपिकल सा साइन होता है 3M, मल्टीन्यूक्लिएशन, मार्जिनेशन, मोल्डिंग. वैसे ही बता रही हूँ, परेशान होने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप सिर्फ मल्टीन्यूक्लिएशन याद रखें. इफ यू सी epithelial cells with multiple nuclear inclusions, this is herpes simplex virus. If you see just one large nuclear or cytoplasmic inclusion, this is cytomegalovirus. ये आपको याद रखनी है. This is candidiasis, fungal infection of esophagus. कहीं और भी candida हो तो ऐसा ही नजर आता है. Fourth year students are expected to know them on slides and pick them up. So this is nothing normal. आपको कोई organization नजर नहीं आ रही. You see hyphae, ठीक है, and then you see spores. They are short, non-septated hyphae and spores. Common site esophagus है, ठीक है, mouth है, females में female genital tract का lower part है. So this can be pretty skin infections common है. So candida you need to identify and you need to appreciate it. Next comes the important topic of reflux esophagitis. Reflux esophagitis is basically in common terms known as GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease पूरा नाम है. What happens is that reflux, हम आम भी बोलते हैं बेटा ये term बहुत ज़्यादा reflux हो रहा है, reflux हो रहा है. So what is actually reflux? It is the coming back of gastric contents into lower esophagus and causing esophagitis. So this whole clustering, ये reflux means वापस आ रहा है content and causing an esophagitis is known as GERD. Why it is causing esophagitis? Because again I told you your esophagus is not tuned to have एसिडिक कंटेंट्स. उसकी लाइनिंग अल्लाह मियां ने बनाई नहीं है इस बात के लिए. सो जब एबनॉर्मली न्यूट्रल कंटेंट्स की बजाय उसको एसिडिक कंटेंट्स गेट पैक करेंगे तो दे विल रिजल्ट इन म्यूकोजल इन्फ्लेमेशन एंड रिजल्टिंग इन एसोफेजाइटिस. और फिर आपको वो सिम्टम्स आएंगे जिनको आप रिफ्लक्स कहते हैं. पैथोजेनेसिस is basically कि transient lower esophageal sphincter की relaxation. अभी तक हम जो diseases पढ़े थे उनमें lower esophagus excessively contracted. So we are back. Can you please see the slide? Can we?
Yes, ma'am, we can see the slide now.
Thank you. So underlying pathology के बाद we'll discuss what happens in in gastroesophageal reflux disease. This can follow. Sometimes the reflux esophagitis can also be part of severe coughing, straining or bending. Again, वही एक तो कॉमन बात हो गई कि डिस्टेंशन, एक्सेसिव डिस्टेंशन बाय फूड है, कोई स्ट्रेस है, और बहुत एक्सटेंसिव कफिंग की है. व्हाट इट विल डू इज इट विल कॉज इंक्रीज इंट्रा-एब्डोमिनल प्रेशर रिजल्टिंग इन डिफेक्टिव और opening of the lower esophagus sphincter. Causes: these are alcohol, tobacco use, obesity, certain CNS depressants. Pregnancy mate is pretty common and almost considered physiological. Hiatal hernia, delayed gastric emptying and increased gastric volume contribute to formation of GERD. In many cases, no definite cause can be seen. Reflux of gastric juices is central to the development of mucosal injury in reflux disease. In severe cases, जब बहुत severe हो तो stomach की बजाय bile content means इतना जोर का pressure था कि from duodenum refluxed back to esophagus and it is far more damaging. वो कहते हैं ना neighbor के साथ फिर भी अच्छे ताल्लुकात होते हैं, ठीक है? तो even अगर stomach के contents आ जाए तो फिर भी tolerance बेहतर है, but when the bile comes from duodenum to esophagus, it is horrible. Some of us, most of us have experienced it once in a lifetime. जब आप कहते हैं ना मुंह बहुत सा कड़वा हो गया, कुछ गले में लगा और मुंह कड़वा हो गया. So kadva is basically bile. That is the duodenum and it can exaggerate the damage. Grossly, what with the naked eye you see, कौन देखे there is a mimicking condition, not a mimicking, but a close condition. Known as eosinophilic esophagitis. So now you can argue, जी उसमें भी आ गए, इसमें भी आ गए, नंबर मैटर. Eosinophilic, less than that, the disease usually falls Shaz, can you listen to me?
यस मैम, अब आपकी आवाज आ रही है, लेकिन बार बार वो डिस्टर्ब हो रहा था, उसकी वजह से डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहा था। कोई इंटरनेट का इशू है आपकी साइड से। पर मैम अभी आई थिंक 10 मिनट्स
Sorry for the interruption. Let's continue.
ओके।
So we were discussing the reflux esophagitis and the microscopic description of it. So what you will see will be neutrophils, eosinophils, and there is a term known as basal zone hyperplasia. That is the 20% of the total epithelium, the lower end of the epithelium, which squamous mucosa, which results in a U-shaped morphology. There is increase in those elongations in those ridges, and it causes elongation of lamina propria into the mucosa. We'll show you when we'll do the practicals that how does it appear. These constellation of microscopic features are seen in reflux esophagitis. Clinically, the patient says complains about heartburn, dysphagia, regurgitation, sore, tasting, gastric contents, and sometimes chest pain. So another entity, we'll discuss these side by side, then I'll show you the pictures and the microscopic descriptions again. Eosinophilic esophagitis. It shows symptoms similar to GERD, occurs usually in a younger age group. Classically on radiology, they show circumferential rings. So basically, jab radiologist or sees in an imaging technique or the endoscopy person sees, they classically tell you that it was a furrowed kind of an appearance, ki kahin dilation, kahin narrowing, kahin dilation, kahin narrowing. So they call it a ring-like appearance, and they usually mention it that we are highly suspecting eosinophilic esophagitis. On microscopy, you see classical diagnostic feature is the number. More than 15 eosinophils per 10 per 1 hyper. 40 वाला लेंस माइक्रोस्कोप का आप करेंगे तो उसकी एक हाइपाफील्ड मींस एक दफा जो आप देखेंगे उसके अंदर मोर देन 15 eosinophils होते हैं. It is associated with other allergies. ट्रीटमेंट डिफरेंस है. GERD का ट्रीटमेंट डिफरेंट है. Eosinophilic esophagitis का ट्रीटमेंट है that you limit those foods which cause these allergic reactions. So now on the picture, this is how the difference appears. एक साइड पर आपको मेरे बी पिक्चर में आपको बहुत ज्यादा eosinophils नजर आ रहे होंगे. Can you appreciate them, please? Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am, we can see this slide.
So आप अगर compare करें बेटे तो देखें, look at this. If I start counting these red dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. अगर मैं roughly देखूं तो there are more than 25 in this hyperfield. This is one hyperfield. So this is diagnostic of eosinophilic esophagitis. Reflux में you see neutrophils, but eosinophils, but not to this extent. कम इक्का दुक्का नजर आ रहे हैं, होते जरूर हैं. Along with that क्या होगा? Neutrophils होंगे और basal zone hyperplasia होगा. Basal zone hyperplasia बेटे आपके स्कोप से जरा डिस्क्रिप्शन ज्यादा है, so you just need to remember the term basal zone hyperplasia. दोनों के इनिशियल सिम्टम्स सेम होंगे, ट्रीटमेंट फर्क है. ट्रीटमेंट में क्या होगा? आप जर्ड के पेशेंट को बताएंगे जी आपने बहुत फुल स्टमक नहीं रहना, हेड रेज रखना है, कफिंग या स्ट्रेनिंग करते कोई ऐसी रीजंस ना हो, आपकी कफ अंडरलाइन ट्रीट होनी चाहिए, सब्सटेंस इनटेक छोड़ दीजिए. eosinophilic esophagitis which occurs in a young group is an entirely different entity. You'll be telling the patient that you're allergic to something and you need to avoid those foods. Second, steroids to calm down the allergy. बट अगर आपने GERD के पेशेंट को स्टीरॉइड दिए तो उसका GERD रिफ्लक्स और खराब हो जाएगा. Then comes the esophageal varices. बहुत कॉमनली हम सोचते हैं जी, सुनते हैं पेशेंट को हेपेटाइटिस की है, उसको esophageal varices हो गई, esophageal varices हो गई. So what is basically esophageal varices? It is a venous network in the lower end of esophagus. ठीक है? This venous network is basically normally एक normal उसमें flow जारी होता है, but अगर कभी लिवर की वजह से बैकवर्ड यानी कि पोर्टल वेन इज बीइंग कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड, अगर लिवर सिरोसिस हो गया, पोर्टल वेन पे प्रेशर आ रहा है, तो इट इज अ बैकवर्ड फ्लो ऑफ ब्लड, वीनस ब्लड इनटू द लोअर दिस वीनस प्लेक्सस. क्या होगा? वेसल्स प्रोट्रूड कर जाएंगी एंड विल बी इजीली फ्रेजाइबल. फूड गुजरेगा उसको एरोड कर देगा, इट विल रिजल्ट इन ब्लीडिंग. सो दिस इज अ बेसिक काइंड ऑफ concept of esophageal varices. Now just a read through. Venous blood from GI passes through liver via portal vein before returning to heart. Diseases that impede this flow cause portal hypertension, such as cirrhosis of liver or liver malignancy, and can lead to the development of esophageal varices, an important cause of esophageal bleeding. Morphologically, varices are tortuous dilated vein lying in the submucosa of distal esophagus and proximal stomach. The venous channels
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट,
directly
स्लाइड्स फिर मूव नहीं हो रही.
स्लाइड में मूव कर भी नहीं रही. आपको esophageal varices नजर
वो
आ रहे हैं?
स्टूडेंट कह रहे हैं, मैं एक्चुअली मैं तो अटेंडेंस लगा रहा हूँ तो मेरा
अच्छा आप
ध्यान
देख लें.
एकदम
ठीक
मैसेज
है.
पे ही पड़ता
मैं
है.
दोबारा शेयर करती हूँ.
ओके, वैसे 1 मिनट लेफ्ट है.
But we'll just end here.
Okay.
So morphology of varices is these are the tortuous dilated veins. These are the venous channels. They can result in rupture. थोड़ा बहुत superficial rupture हो, bleeding होती है. Upper GI severe rupture can result in life-threatening condition. Usually volume या blood loss इतना नहीं होता, but इसमें ज़्यादा danger किस बात का होता है कि patient aspirate ना कर ले blood. So this can be result in a medical emergency. Venous thrombosis sometimes and ulceration can also be seen. This is how the esophageal varices appear. आपको यहाँ पर dilated vessels नजर आ रही हैं. ये बिल्कुल वो प्रिंसिपल है जो आपकी लेग्स में जिन्हें हम कहते हैं वेरिसेस हो जाती हैं. एवरीथिंग एवरी प्लेस वेरिसेस आर सेम, सिर्फ ऑर्गन की साइट के हिसाब से सिम्टम्स होंगे. सो देयर इज एन एक्सेसिव कूलिंग और डायलेटेशन ऑफ वीनस चैनल. ये ब्लड है जनाब, वीनस वेन के बीच में इतनी डायलेटेड वेन हुई है, एंड दिस कैन रिजल्ट इन अल्सरेशन और ब्लीडिंग. So I think we'll stop here, and in next lecture we'll continue with the Barrett's esophagus. I'll just like you to go through, give 5 minutes and go through your Robbins to just see these topics. We'll also discuss questions in the next lecture.